without whom Thelma literally would not exist. We have, in addition to the film's writer, director, producer, and believe it or not, this is his feature film directorial debut, Josh Margolin. And also joining us is the star of the film. You've seen her in About Schmidt, Hubie Halloween, Second Woman, talk about diverse. And of course, her Academy Award-nominated turn in Nebraska. Still, I doubt even her biggest fans were prepared for her stunning lead turn in Thelma. Please welcome June Squibb. Oh, I'm so sorry, we're out of time. Thank you so much for being here. Congratulations on a wonderful movie.
It takes a little while to get settled.
Yeah.
All right, we're in.
Me too, I swear. This is primarily an audience of fellow actors.
Yes,
Yes.
I know, I'm thrilled.
Yes.
And you've touched my heart, every one of you.
And we always like to start at that by asking, what was your first job as an actor? And Josh, I'd love to know yours, because you're an actor too. Yeah.
As an actor?
Yeah.
Well, the first time I got paid, I think, was at the Cleveland Playhouse. I had been an apprentice, but the next year they had to pay me something. Not very much, but it was money, and I got it, so that was good.
What was the show? Do you remember?
Oh, I did 5 years there, so I did a lot of shows.
Wow. No, you've done all kinds of shows. I know you did Gypsy with Ethel Merman.
Oh, wow.
And Ethel Merman is incredible.
Yeah, she is.
Did she ever give you advice?
Yes, she would make sure that we all knew about the audience. That audience was so important to her, and she really taught me to respect the audience and to love them. I really came out of that situation understanding the audience much more than I ever did before.
Mm-hmm. Josh, for you, what was your first job?
I had a small part on the show New Girl, where I played a guy in line for a porta potty. For a porta potty.
I was like, wait, I feel like I remember this.
It's quick, but you know, it's in there. It's in there.
Well, again, congratulations. Look at how far you've both come. I'm going to start with Josh, because I know all movies are autobiographical to filmmakers, but this one particularly so. Can you tell us about the real Thelma and how have you been wanting to tell her story for some time?
Yeah, I mean, so it's based on my real grandma, Thelma Post, actually. The same exact name. And she's just been such a huge fixture of my life, someone I've grown up with and who's just been kind of ever present. And still is. She's 104 actually, and still hanging in. So she's something. And yeah, she's always just been a really, really inspirational figure to me. Just the funniest, strongest, sort of most stalwart figure in my life. And she got a call some years back after my grandfather had passed away, when she was living alone for the first time in her 90s, much like the character. And someone was pretending to be me, saying they were in a car accident and all of that. It's, again, kind of verbatim, almost the call in the movie. And luckily, in real life, we were able to intervene before she actually sent the money, but it was a pretty close call, and it just kind of shook up my long-standing feeling that she was like unflappable, and it started me imagining what might have happened if she had sent it. And I imagined she would have done kind of what June does in the movie. So that was the genesis of the idea, and then it sort of became an excuse to write, an ode to her spirit and to her.
Did you ever debate not calling it Thelma? Because she is still with us, and everyone knows she's Thelma.
It's funny, I hadn't, and then there came a moment in the process where there was another movie called Thelma. I think there's been another one, there's been like one or two, but there was one that we thought was going to be happening almost simultaneous to ours, and we were like, oh, damn, like I never thought of another title, and we did a lot of brainstorming, came up with a bunch of titles, and it just didn't feel right. Nothing felt right, so we decided to just stick to it, and I'm glad we did.
Yep, that's Thelma.
Yeah, there she is.
June, how did the script come to you, and what was sort of your reaction? Did you know when you opened that script it was the lead role, the title character?
I knew nothing about it when I opened the script because I got a text from Beanie Fieldstein saying, I'm sending you a script. And I said, okay, and that was it. And then I got the script. She's a family friend of Josh, and she was actually at their house after you'd finished the script, I think.
Yeah, I think I was talking about it with her, yeah.
And so they were talking about the casting for it. And I guess Josh said he didn't know how to get a script to me. And she said, I'll get a script to her. And she did.
Wow.
So I read it knowing nothing about it, nothing about Josh at all. And I just felt the minute I read it that I had to do it. That there was no question in my mind. And I have someone that reads all my scripts, and she called me up and she said, well, you've got to do this one.
Wow.
So it was strictly from the script that, we committed immediately to it.
At what point did you realize, oh, I'm Thelma, that's the lead character?
From the beginning.
Okay.
I do what they wanted me to do.
Okay, good. It's so hard to find, people talk about finding good roles for women, and there it is. It's your first.
I know, I'm amazed that it was ever written, and that for someone that old. It was just, Josh happened to come along with it, and I was there.
Wow. And this, I still can't wrap my head around this. This is your first leading film role in your career.
Right.
Wow.
And you're very shy about this, and why should you be? You're turning 95 in a couple weeks.
Yep.
So. So what does it mean to be the lead, the title character in a movie at this point?
Well, it doesn't mean much of anything. Because, I prepared the same way, and I went into the shooting the same way, and I think I shot the same way I worked the same way I always worked. And the only thing is you get more time in front of the camera. You really do. And that I think I realized at about the middle of the shoot. Boy, wow, I'm getting a lot of time in front of this camera.
And I'll say also, whether or not it feels different internally, which I know it doesn't, just having someone like June kind of at the center of the production and kind of setting the tone, I think, was something I know I felt very, very lucky to have you, and to have someone who, has the attitude you have, which is the work, and I show up and I'm prepared and I'm disciplined, and just makes everybody kind of rise to the occasion and be there and have to be as pro and as, kind and excellent as June. So it was a gift to the movie, and I honestly don't think we could have or would have made it without her, because I know I didn't have a backup plan. I was like, this is a role for June, and I hope she does it.
It features a surprising amount of action. Were you prepared for that? Because you did all your
I
stunts.
realized when I read the script, that's one thing I did realize, that there was a lot of physical in it. And most of it, though, it seemed to me, like the scooter, I thought, oh boy, great, this is going to be fun. And I just thought, sure, I could do most of it. The bed rolls, I thought I could do that, and everything. So it never occurred. They were so scared.
We were.
They were worried. They presented it to me saying, you won't have to do anything. We'll have a stunt woman there, and she'll do it all. And I thought, oh, shit. I wanted to do it if I could, and I tried, and most of it I could.
Wow.
The process was a lot like the movie, which was us going no, don't go over there. Whatever. It was a lot of art imitating life, but.
Making any movie is exhausting, but you had a pretty short schedule on this too, I believe.
We shot 25 days, all here in LA, which was really nice. And to me, coming from indies, that to me, I was like, 25 days, this is great, we got time. But then, once you're working, you always want more.
Just the endurance that takes, especially when you're in every single scene, pretty much. That's so impressive. By the way, you didn't just shoot in LA, I'm pretty sure you shot in my neighborhood.
Very possible.
Yes, North Hollywood?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
a lot of North Hollywood.
Valley. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
A lot in the valley.
What was, some of the most challenging parts of making this movie? Were there particular scenes that, either emotionally or just physically were harder for you?
I think the house, Mona's
Mona's house, yeah.
was just hard. That was hard with those stairs and the bed thing, getting the gun, all of that. That was not easy, but it was doable.
Yeah. Yeah, that's your James Bond moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the hardest thing for me was the needle point. I wasn't very good at
It's hard.
You were pretty good.
it. They would take out what I did
Oh.
every day. So I got
You
the
were
message. I got the message.
I also want to talk about this amazing cast because it is a flawless ensemble from top to bottom, starting with the late, great Richard Roundtree. I could be wrong, but I don't think I've ever seen him in a role like this. Did you know him at all? Had you
No.
met? Really? Because you really feel like old friends.
I think we became that very, very quickly. Because I loved him. I just think he's the best. And he is such a fine actor, which I think that's one reason he wanted to do the film very badly. I think he wanted to show people another side of himself or what he could do.
Yeah.
He seemed
Because it was so different.
Yeah, I had a Zoom with him early on, and from that Zoom, it just felt very clear that he was the man for the job, and also just such a lovely, kind, warm, charming guy. And I do think, to June's point, it felt like he wanted to just play a more vulnerable character, to show a softer side of himself, and he gives such a beautiful performance, and was such just a really, really lovely guy who we missed quite a bit, but it was definitely an honor to get to work with him, and luckily they got along really, really beautifully, and yeah, he was the best.
Yeah, I saw he brought you flowers on your birthday on his day off.
He didn't have to be there either. And he brought me 2 dozen red roses.
And he wore a June
He
wig.
wore a white wig. My assistant had gotten a lot of white wigs for everybody to put on, so wherever I looked, I saw myself. And so he put one on, which was pretty funny.
You've worked with so many amazing directors, and that includes Josh. I'm curious, what do you hope for from a director when you show up to set?
Oh, gosh. I don't know. I really don't. I hope that they will help me if I need help, and I hope that they're good.
I think I dropped something. Might be my phone. No, it's the phone.
It's a very, and that they all work differently. So, but I've had some wonderful, wonderful experiences with directors, including this one.
Yeah. Do you think, Josh, having an acting background helps you with have empathy for actors?
Yes, I think that really helps.
I think so. Only in that, obviously on a much smaller scale than June, waiting in line for that porta potty, I could really understand the experience. No, I do think on some level, even in my limited capacity, just having been on the other side of it, you understand that it's vulnerable and that it's something that requires, an environment conducive to taking chances and feeling free and able to make mistakes and trying again and all of that. So I think at the very least, just having been, have worn that hat in my life, it hopefully gave me some sensitivity to it at least.
You've also been through the audition process. You know what
Yes.
it's like from the other side.
Yes, it's tough. Yeah, that is not a fun process.